Hi everyone and welcome for this review of Monday Night Raw. It's the Night 2 of the WWE Draft 2023. Cody Rhodes and Brock Lesnar have been announced to be present. The same goes for the Bloodline, except for Roman Reigns. Like always, I want to say, just like SmackDown, the show starts with Triple H coming on stage. He sets the rules for the draft and hypes the crowning of a new WWE World Champion. Triple H then announces the first round of draft pick. The picks include Brock Lesnar, who is a free agent, Ripley to WWE Raw, Austin Theory and the WWE United States title to WWE SmackDown, Seth Rollins to WWE Raw, and Charlotte Flair to WWE SmackDown. Triple H introduces Paul Heyman, who states that Roman Reigns has requested him to address some concerns. Heyman mentions that Roman will appear on the May 12 WWE SmackDown and hints at Roman's potential pursuit of the world title. Paul Heyman also makes fun of the freaking clowns in the back. However, Seth Rollins interrupts Heyman and suggests that Roman should be pleased that they are on different shows. Rollins declares his ambition to win the WWE World title at Night of Champions. During the conversation, Heyman receives a phone call, and Rollins jokingly threatens to curb stomp him. At this moment, Solo Sikoa enters to save Heyman, and a match between Solo and Rollins is scheduled for later that night. Upon returning from the break, in a previously recorded video, Cody Rhodes arrives in the parking lot. Adam Pearce stops him and says that it's a big night, and he would prefer not to see any chaos. Next we have the first match of the evening, Damage Control Bayley and Dakota Kai vs Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez. But it's not for the titles. The match goes back and forth, and at the end Bayley tags herself in, while Morgan hits the Oblivion on Kai. Bayley takes advantage of this and rolls up Morgan for the win. In another recorded video, Adam Pearce stops Brock Lesnar. Pearce says that he would like to keep the peace if possible, as it's a big night. Lesnar wishes Pearce good luck with his plan. Booker T and Queen Sharma come out to announce the second round of the WWE Draft. Raw selects Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn and Judgment Day Finn Balor, Damian Priest, and Dominik Mysterio, while SmackDown selects the Uso Jimmy and Jey Uso and LWO Santos Escobar, Joaquin Wilde, Cruz del Toro, Zelina Vega, and Rey Mysterio. Then it's Ricochet and Braun Strowman vs Alpha Academy Otis and Chad Gable accompanied by Maxxine Dupri. In a quick match, Ricochet and Chad Gable start things off. At the end, Braun Strowman and Otis get in the ring and trade shots, with Strowman slamming Otis. Ricochet is tagged back in and jumps onto Strowman's shoulders to deliver a Swanton bomb for the win. Shawn Michaels and Adam Pearce appear on stage to announce the next round of the WWE Draft. However, Brock Lesnar's music interrupted them, and he made his way to the ring. Pearce asked Lesnar to calm down, but Lesnar continued to challenge Pearce's authority. Security was called in, but Lesnar said it would take more than that to remove him. Cody Rhodes' music then played, and he attacked Lesnar from the other side of the stage. Security had to intervene and contain Cody, while Lesnar left laughing. After the interruption, Shawn Michaels resumed the draft announcements, and in the third round, Raw select the Women's Tag Team Champions Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez, and the New Day Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston, while SmackDown select Asuka and the Brawling Brutes Ridge Holland, Butch and Sheamus. Next is Matt Riddle, accompanied by Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, who faces Jimmy Uso, accompanied by Jey. During the match, Owens and Zayn fake getting hit by a chair swung by Jey at ringside, and the referee ejects Jey to the back. Towards the end of the match, Jimmy tries to remove the turnbuckle pad, but Owens sends him face first while Zayn distracts the referee. Riddle takes advantage and hits Jimmy with a ripcord knee and his floating bro for the pinfall victory. In backstage, Paul Heyman motivates Solo Sikoa for his match, saying that his tribal chief wants to see him win. Jey Uso arrives and asks a quick question: why wasn't Solo ringside tonight? Heyman says that Solo needs to handle the extermination of a clown, so he needs to stay focused. Heyman invites Jey to enjoy the suite, and they leave. We can see that Jey don't really understand why they are acting like that. In the fourth round of the draft, WWE Hall of Famers Eric Bischoff and Rob Van Dam appear as special presenters. Trish Stratus is drafted to Raw, while Karrion Kross and Scarlett are drafted to SmackDown. Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler are selected to Raw, and LA Knight goes to SmackDown. The Miz is hosting Miz TV and his guest is Shinsuke Nakamura, who was traded to Raw for the first time in his career. Miz welcomes Nakamura to Raw and asks him if he thinks he has a chance to become the first WWE World Heavyweight Champion. Nakamura responds positively in Japanese, but Miz interrupts him and suggests that Nakamura could be a good number 2 for a Miz-Nakamura team. Nakamura insults Miz in Japanese. He says that Miz has tiny balls and then attacks him with a kick in his finishing move, the Kinshasa. Next is Omos vs Anthony Alanis. It's over as quickly as it begins. Big boot and choke bomb for the win. This is not a very useful match. A match supposedly to promote Omos, but the crowd doesn't care. WWE Hall of Famers Road Dogg and Molly Holly are presenters for the next round of draft picks. During this round, Ricochet and Braun Strowman are drafted to Raw, Shotzi is drafted to SmackDown, Bronson Reed is drafted to Raw, and Pretty Deadly Kit Wilson and Elton Prince are drafted to SmackDown. Then the Judgment Day come out and brag about being on Raw. Rhea Ripley and Damian Priest hype backlash. However, when Dominik tries to speak, he gets booed out of the building. The LWO then come out, and Rey Mysterio says they're happy that the draft has separated them, but they'll still handle business tonight. The two teams then have a match. Damian Priest, Dominik Mysterio and Rhea Ripley for Judgment Day versus Rey Mysterio, Santos Esobar and Zelina Vega for LWO. During the match, as Rey Mysterio was clearing the ring, Rhea Ripley attempted to press slam him. Zelina Vega then surprised Ripley with a 619. Meanwhile, Dominik Mysterio tripped his father, causing Santos Escobar to hit a suicide dive. Ripley dropped Santos, but Vega managed to hit a Meteora. Rey then set up for another 619, but Finn Balor took the blow for Damian Priest. Priest eventually hit his finisher, South of Heaven, to secure the victory. In the backstage, Kathy Kelly is with Cody Rhodes to get his reaction on Brock Lesnar. Cody says that Lesnar has been in his head since the night after WrestleMania. Lesnar doesn't need to win the match, he needs to win. Because if he doesn't win, the whole idea of ending the story cannot live anymore. And he will go back behind everyone. Also in the backstage, Byron Saxton asks Bianca Belair for her reaction to her exchange on SmackDown. Belair says that it's not important, she just wants to show her skills to the fans. She just wants to defend her title against Io Sky at Backlash. Damage Control arrives. Bayley asks why Saxton isn't doing an interview with future champions. Sky will make Belair sad at SmackDown. Belair says that Sky has been held back by Bayley and Kai. She hopes that Sky can shine through Backlash. JBL and Teddy Long are here for the 6th round of the draft. During this round, Alpha Academy consisting of Otis and Chad Gable were drafted to Raw, while Rick Boogs was drafted to SmackDown. Katana Chance and Kaden Carter were also drafted to Raw, while Cameron Grimes was drafted to SmackDown. Now it's time for the main event. Seth Rollins faced off against Solo Sikoa, but despite Sikoa's multiple spinning solos, Rollins managed to resist. However, the Uso interfered and attacked Rollins, resulting in a disqualification finish. To even the odds, Matt Riddle, Kevin Owens, and Sami Zayn rushed to the ring, but the show ended quickly after that. With this main event, we are left wanting more. I wanted to see more of this big final showdown, but it's still a good episode of Raw. Note during WWE Raw Talk, WWE announced the final picks of the 2023 WWE Draft. NXT stars Odyssey Jones and Indus Jinder Mahal, Veer Mahan, and Sangha were drafted to Raw. Grayson Waller were drafted to SmackDown. Additionally, during Raw Talk, it was announced that several other superstars, including Johnny Gargano, Nikki Cross, Dana Brooke, Angel Garza, Humberto Carrillo, Akira Tozawa, Piper Niven, Zia Lai, Tegan Knox, Riddick Moss, and Emma were also drafted to WWE Raw. Tamina was the only superstar drafted to WWE SmackDown during this round. And Baron Corbin, Shelton Benjamin, Cedric Alexander, Elias, and Zion Quinn were announced as free agents. That's it for this review of WWE Raw. If you liked it, don't hesitate to subscribe, and let me know in the comments what you thought of this episode of Raw. Thank you all.